please. Welcome to News Mongolian MNB World. I am Jugdrinabold. And for our top stories. Fitch ratings, Mongolian GDP growth expected to slow to 5.7% in 2024 amidst headwinds. Regular cabinet meeting outcomes. US and Mongolian Judiciary discuss digital court systems. For the news, stay with us. Fitch Ratings has affirmed Mongolia's long-term foreign currency issuer default ratings it B with a stable outlook. Following the better-than-expected performance in Q3 of 2023, Fitch Ratings estimates that the Mongolian economy expanded by 6.5% in 2023. In 2024, they expect real GDP growth to slow to 5.7% due to several headwinds.
Mongolia's ratings reflect favorable medium-term growth prospects and relatively high per capita income compared to its peers. However, high reliance on external funding and commodity exports to China, alongside elevated external debt and modest foreign exchange reserves, constrain the country's ratings. The development of the mining sector has significantly boosted Mongolia's economy over the past decade, leading to improvements in GDP per capita and reductions in public and external debt burdens. However, this growth has also introduced volatility in key credit metrics, with potential risks exacerbated by parliamentary elections in 2024 and an expansionary fiscal policy. While growth is expected to slow in 2024 as exports stabilize, ongoing mining and infrastructure projects could support medium-term growth. Mongolia's current account swung to a surplus of about 1% of GDP in 2023, driven by strong mining exports and subdued domestic private investment. However, a return to a deficit is expected in 2024 to 2025, likely covered by inflows of foreign direct investment. Despite improvements, external financial risks persist due to high net external debt and weak foreign reserves coverage ratios. Despite these improvements, external financial risks persist due to high net external debt and weak foreign reserve coverage ratios, reflecting Mongolia's reliance on external funding and narrow economic base.
During its regular session on March 27, 2024, the Mongolian cabinet announced several pivotal decisions aimed at enhancing infrastructure, addressing climate change challenges, and revolutionizing healthcare.
In a move to boost trade efficiency, the cabinet has approved the round-the-clock operation of the Zamingwood Irian port, effective April 1, 2024. Tolok, the Minister of Mongolia and Chairman of the National Committee for Port Revival, has been tasked with overseeing the organization and preparation for this initiative, slated to run until September 30, 2024. Minister Amr Baysatlan presented a drought law to mitigating the adverse effects of climate change on livestock husbandry. The proposed legislation outlines measures to tackle environmental challenges while enhancing the competitiveness of livestock products. Key provisions include support for cooperation and cooperative initiatives, offering loans to citizens joining herdsmen's cooperatives, and establishing primary and secondary cooperatives tailored to regional characteristics. The cabinet emphasized the acceleration of the e-transition in the healthcare sector. A working group established on the order of the Prime Minister unveiled plans to procure the necessary equipment for a specialized database and launch advocacy campaigns to promote citizen engagement. With over 30,000 doctors and medical specialists utilizing various software programs, the sector aims to streamline outpatient and inpatient services while harnessing personal health data for diagnosis and treatment purposes. This push towards digitalization aims to integrate various healthcare systems under the Integrated State Electronic Service System in Mongolia, thereby facilitating seamless information exchange and enhancing overall healthcare delivery.
Now please take a look at current affairs of Mongolia.
Chief Justice Robert Brattanel of the Arizona Supreme Court and Dave Byers, Director of the Administrative Office of the Courts, are visiting Mongolia from March 24 to 31st. They shared Arizona's successful digital court system implementation with Mongolian judicial officials to enhance citizen access to court services, judicial independence, and transparency in legal proceedings. This initiative, supported by the U.S. Embassy and the Mongolian Bar Association, follows a previous visit by the U.S. federal judge James Wynn in 2022, emphasizing the importance of open communication between citizens and the judiciary in a democratic system. During their visit, they engaged with various Mongolian judicial bodies, including the Mongolian Bar Association and the Supreme Court of Mongolia, to discuss challenges and forthcoming opportunities and digitalizing court proceedings. Public engagements included a panel discussion on March 28 at the Novotel Hotel and a discussion on March 26 at the Judicial General Council.
Now please take a look at currency exchange rates provided by the Mongol Bank. Now please take a look at foreign news partnered with international news agencies. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk held talks with Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal in Warsaw on Thursday. The Polish and the Ukrainian governments are trying to end an impasse over trade, with Polish farmers angry over the influx of Ukrainian food products, which they blame for hurting their business. There have been protests in Warsaw against food imports from the war-torn country and the European Union's agricultural policies.
The actions follow similar protests across Europe in recent weeks and come as the West is experiencing growing fatigue in helping Ukrainians as they try to push back Russia's invasion. The protesters are demanding a ban on the imports of Ukrainian grain and other produce and allege that poor quality Ukrainian produce is harming the country's food supply and putting its important agricultural sector in jeopardy. They are angry at the European Union for lifting tariffs on Ukrainian food imports while Ukraine, a major food producer, sought ways to get its food to global markets with war hampering transport in the Black Sea. The European Union Commission has already made some concessions to farmers, including postponing a cut in pesticide use until after the elections.
Israel's military said on Thursday it killed a senior Hamas leader in a hospital and destroyed an extensive tunnel in central Gaza. The country's chief military spokesperson, Rear Adam Daniel Hagari said the army had assassinated Hamas commander Raed Tabet, who was one of the 10 most senior Hamas military commanders.
Hagari said he was killed inside the Shifa hospital in Gaza City along with 2 other Hamas militants. Israel has been carrying out a large-scale operation in Gaza's largest hospital, Shifa, for the past weeks.
In the last few minutes, we received approval from the General Security Service, together with the Intelligence Division, for the approval of the assassination of a senior Hamas official who we took out at Shifa Hospital. The senior Hamas official we eliminated is Raed Tabet. Tabet served as the head of the supply and personnel corps of the military arm of Hamas. In the past, he served as the head of Hamas's production system and is the organization's center of knowledge regarding equipment and ammunition. Raed was in the top 10 of the senior military wing. He is close to Sinwar, Taif, and Issa.
Israel has alleged that hospitals serve as command centers, weapon storage facilities, and hideouts for Hamas, but has presented little visual evidence. Hamas has denied the allegations. Hagari said there were 1,200 people in Shifa hospital when the operation began last week and that 350 were patients and medical staff. The army has already identified at least 500 militants they said are associated with Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad inside the hospital compound. Israel has said they have killed more than 170 militants inside Shifa in the operation. Hagari also said the army also destroyed one of the longest tunnels used by Hamas, a 2.5-kilometer long in central Gaza using more than 30 tons of explosives. Israel's bombardment and offensive in Gaza have killed more than 32,000 Palestinians and wounded nearly 75,000 more in the territory of 2.3 million people, according to Gaza's health ministry. The count doesn't differentiate between combatants and civilians, but the ministry says about two-thirds of those killed have been women and children.
Belgian chocolate shops are getting ready for the Easter weekend amidst rising cocoa prices on global markets. For those who prepare to eat or offer their own creation rather than buying it, the Belgian chocolate makers shop in Brussels offers possibility to customers to create their perfect chocolate bar.
After being taught that there is no cacao powder in white chocolate but only cacao butter, that there cannot be more than 44% of milk in milk chocolate, or that the taste of chocolate would greatly differ depending on where the cacao beans are coming from, customers can pour steamy chocolate on a mold and garnish it with various toppings. Patricia Lafargue, a chocolate artisan at the Belgian chocolate makers, also raises awareness of the ongoing challenges faced by the chocolate industry and the importance of favoring small cacao and chocolate producers. With exports from Ivory Coast, the world's top producer, down by a third in the recent months, the global price of cacao has risen sharply. Cacao futures have already doubled this year, trading at a record high of more than $10,000 per metric ton in New York on Tuesday, after rising more than 60% the previous year. Farmers who harvest cacao beans say the increases aren't enough to cover the lower yields and higher production costs. For us, it will not change much for the time being. Of course, in the next few months, our cacao will also increase a bit. But because we are working with small farmers, our cacao doesn't come from deforestation. So the impact for us will not be as big as it will be for industrial companies who have cacao coming only from deforestation. About 3/4 of the world's cacao, the main ingredient in chocolate, are produced in cacao trees in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and Cameroon. But dusty seasonal winds from the Sahara were severe in recent months, blocking out the sunlight needed for bean pods to grow. The season prior heavy rainfall spread a rotting disease. Yet the high Easter demand for chocolate carries a potential treat for big confectionery companies. It is crystal clear that chocolate will become again a very luxury product with the soaring prices. But for us, we were already more expensive than industrial chocolate makers because we are small artisans. Everything here is 100% handmade and we're using quality cacao coming from small producers. So it comes with a cost, but here you are buying a quality product made with artisanal work. Major global makers in Europe and the United States have more than passed on the rise in cacao prices to consumers. Net profit margins at the Hershey Company increased to 16.7% in 2023 from 15.8% in 2022. Mondelez International, which owns the Toblerone and Cadbury brands, reported a jump to 13.8% in 2023 from 8.6% the year before. But Lafargue said she hadn't noticed any changes in customers' behavior, with Easter and Christmas still the busiest time of the year for her store.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a good day.